monga zimene alonjeza masiku ano nchipimba kungopimba m'maso a Malawi koma nakudziwa kuti Malawi bazindikira tsopano kuti ili mbodza wankunkhuniza
chipimba maso
ndithu chipamaso alibe mtima wakuti akhoza kulimbana ndi Katangale vakanika zaka 5 ukanikiratu kuba lero ndiye kwapita mtundu wonse pamwamba Katangale ndiye wafalikira paliponse koma zolankhula zabwino zedi atithana ndi Katangale iyayi simauoka koma ntchito zionetsa
panga mpulogalamu iyi madzulo ano ndi the very reverend Professor Timothy Kabulunga Nyasulu amene ndi Vice Chancellor wa University of Livingstonia komanso ndi spokesperson wa bungwe lija la Interfaith Forum for Peace, Justice and Dialogue. Abusa Nyasulu, Professor, takulandirani kuno ku Blantyre. Takumana on the sidelines msonkhano wa Public Affairs Committee. Mwaenda kubwanji kupaki. Ndipo all inclusive conference imeneyi yasiyana bwanji ndi misonkhano.
Brian kuno ku Blantyre kumene timachita msonkhano wa Public Affairs Committee. Tayenda bwino kwambiri. Ndithu mabungwe osiyana including azibusa nali kumeneko civil society organizations ameki kumene sata security political parties and so many other groupings including the academia and the youth council of Malawi all sectors in the country anali kumeneko and I would look at this conference to be very successful.
Okay.
Very successful in the sense that all Malawians came together.
Yeah.
To talk issues that affect our country of national interest. Of course, different views from different perspectives. But at the end of the day, we came up with a consensus, which will come up by the Public Affairs Committee Secretariat in terms of communicating to the country. So in brief, I would say the meeting was very good.
Nkhani inakula umene kundia masankho.
Yes.
Tiwerenga bwanji masankhowa. Adzereba mashini kapena tichite pamanja. Nkhani imene ikumabwera it's popping up.
Yes.
Chavuta njani?
Chavuta ndichoti kumbuyo konseku chimene chikutchulidwa pano this time.
Yeah.
Chimene chachokera ku kampani kuti ya Smartmatic. Chinali chinthu chachilendo. Moti anthu ambiri sakuchimvesesa.
Okay.
Ndiye some of us nabwera kumene koko na feso ena wosamvesesa. Kuti chinthu chimenechi chimagwira ntchito bwanji ena kamati elections management device. EMD, something like that. Koma company they are kuti Smartmatic company. Ndio ta machine si Smartmatic.
Okay.
Koma Smartmatic
ndi company. Okay.
Koma gadget chimene agura ku Smartmatic.
Okay.
Ndi chimene anthu anacho concern.
Okay.
Ndiye nangasife kuno sidi na vepo ndikali. Ndi kuti chimachine cha Smartmatic. Yeah, but because America nali komweko if it was nali komweko magulu osiyana they we brought some concerns and ifuso limene mofuso kodi zizayenda bwanji. I may not be accurate but what I can understand is they're going to be a hybrid way of handling elections.
Okay.
In the sense that there will be manual counting as well as this system, this technological system taking place. So both will be working.
Kaka fika po vota.
Yes.
Ta vota tamaliza.
Yes.
Akawerenga pomwepo.
Yes.
Nkukoma so pakoma.
Exactly.
Auja beza mukuti.
Exactly.
Percenta pa.
Exactly. Mamonita social pompo.
Okay.
Akuona nditu kuti candidate wa uje wapese makuti. Ama chita kusoto uyu the less than the other or this was more than the other. Zikatazama nyoze ndiye kuguso Yes. Electronically.
Okay.
Yes.
So ndizimene mwamvana kumene.
I think it's better to understand.
Okay.
And ngazatu ameki afomile sakuti I think ntonjira yake ikhali imene.
Okay.
Yes. Payamba timamvakati zamani zika kugira chito kweni.
Okay.
As if they will only use this one.
Yeah.
Koma kuti I think both ways they will be working.
Inuyo ndinu mmodzi mwa amene tingatchule kuti eminent persons mdziko muno, sinu munthu wambayi.
Yeah.
Mwakhala maudindo siyana.
Yes.
Mabodi. Nkhani ya kumpoto. Nkhawa zanu zimakhala pati. Chifukwa ndimaona ngati kuti anthu akumpoto mmakhala ngati muli ndi nkhani.
Yeah.
Ndizona
Kwambiri.
Muli ndi nkhani.
Kwambiri.
Nkhani zanu zimakhala pati.
Nkhani zathu ndi zakuti tikaona mene ziko linayambira.
Yeah.
The first politicians from the Malawi country would be counted from the north.
Okay.
Amene anayambira kuyambirira achina Levi Mumba chani. This would be from north.
Okay.
Then ndikubwera pa nkhani za kuyamba ma political parties.
Yeah.
Then I want to they are coming in.
Okay.
One of the founders of MCP, what we call MCP now. And when we come from that background, even education itself started from the north.
Okay.
If I would say here, the University of Livingstone here was the first institution of higher learning in Malawi.
Yeah.
In the early 1894.
Okay.
Right away at Livingstone, Laws.
Yeah.
And some of the educated people in Tanzania, Zimbabwe, Zambia, we are coming to Livingstone. So from the missionaries' point of view, education started in the north. But it continued spreading. We appreciate that. But now you look at the economic situation of the north.
Okay.
Development activities in the north were the least.
You are the least.
We are the least.
Okay.
Because even during time of Kamuzu, he said no Wazungu, they used to call this dead north. He was referring to the development issues. Now, but educated people from the beginning, even up to the moment, if there are people who are actually so much concerned on education, everybody would agree that north has people. But when it comes to getting or gaining development projects to transform the north, it has been very, very slow. Now, let me briefly say, when His Excellency late Kamuzubanda, may he so rest in peace, was talking about the dead north, our hope was that during his time, north would change. But when you compare north and Lilongwe and Blantyre here, north is still lagging behind. That was during Kamu's time. When Bakiri came in, around 1994, he did some development. I should acknowledge that. Like Central Hospital that we have, during Kamu's was Bakiri Munoz. The Tobacco Commission, tobacco selling point was Bakiri. And so many other things. But when you compare north and other regions, north is still behind. But north is very small when you see the geographical position and in the population. North is very small. Then we come to Bingo Mtarika. He did some development. Significant that I could mention would be a road to Chitipa.
Okay.
That has been for years from MCP. That road was not considered. UDF, that road was considered. But when Bingu came, may he so rest in peace, that road was constructed. So could actually count that during Bingu there was this, during Baki there was this, and during this after Bingu then came Joyce Banda, and then they came Peter Mtarika, and now we have this present MCP. When we compare the development that are taking place in other regions, north is lagging behind. we feel politicians, possibly, I may be wrong,
Yeah.
possibly they have deliberately ignored the North for whatever political reason. That's my own. No, nobody else have consulted, but that's on my own assessment. Why would it be like that? Some of the developments that I've mentioned, indeed they took place, but we compare. That's why maybe at one point some politicians have said, maybe we'll go for federal system.
We'll talk about federal in
Fine.
But
yeah.
why do you feel that you have been sidelined?
Yeah. I think the why part, maybe politicians themselves
Okay.
would answer better. But I would really feel that possibly they have just, whether I would say, jealousy, because even the quota system, people who suffered more were people from the North. There was a time when then all people from the central region were sent back to the North. North in the 80s. And these would be people that are actually supporting the development of the country. But maybe that kind of tribalism, if I do mention, if maybe each politician that comes has that kind of spirit.
Ndimafuna tidziphatikiza ndi chichewa pa.
Yeah, palipo.
A president Chakwera.
Yes.
Ena amanena kuti ayesetsa kunkhani ya kugwirana ntchito ngati akumpoto. Nduna zambiriko kuyerekeza ndi ena.
Yes.
Amabweranso kumpoto.
Yes.
Kukhala 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
Namawayawaya menemo.
Yeah.
Isn't that enough?
No, it's not.
It's not?
No, not at all.
Not at all?
No. I'll give you reasons, Brian. I stay in Mzuzu myself.
Yeah.
And Mzuzu, if you go there now, all the Mzuzu roads, except this road that was going to that is going to Nkatabe.
Yeah.
All these other roads, potholes, mud, dusty. Even those roads that are saying tikumanga msewu wozungulira Mzuzu kutoka ku Ujeni ku technical college kukatulukira ku Ujeni ku Dunduzu, that road stops sometime back. It's not working. It's muddy. If you go there now, Brian.
Okay.
Right. Now they have been talking about the airport. I'm talking about Mzuzu alone.
Yes.
I've not gone outside Mzuzu.
Okay. Just talking of Mzuzu.
That's Mzuzu, where airport. They promised Mzuzu to have Otunchiro Airport to be built somewhere outside Mzuzu city. At one point they said somewhere closer to Ekwendeni. Then no, have changed. Now it will be somewhere around Musangazi. There's good flat place there. That has not happened. Surprisingly, this year, maybe 2 months ago or a month, then they started renovating this small airport that's there. The small airport that is near Vigwago Market, that you cannot actually say it's an international airport. But they call it international airport. They want to say it's Utunichiro International Airport. But I tell you, even the strip that have done the renovation is pathetic. A small piece of tar, not finished. Even up to now, it has stagnated. Nobody's there. And somebody would go and talk to Malawians that the current government has transformed northern region. That's very unfair. Very unfair. Very unfair. And I feel it. And you know this, when people they use this podium for their political talks, they can exaggerate. And people can even urulate. but there's nothing. Just within Mzuzu itself. If I would say Mzuzu would be possibly the dirtiest city. If I would qualify it myself. If you go to Lilongwe, you go to Blantyre, you go elsewhere, and you go to Mzuzu.
So you want to tell us that the Chakwera administration has done nothing in the north? I talked about the number of ministers.
Right.
He's
Right,
probably
right.
appointed more ministers
True.
than probably any other president.
Agreed. Maybe.
You agree?
I've not yet counted.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
during the time of Bakiri,
Yeah.
there were ministers from the north.
Okay.
Very well.
Okay.
We know them. I can even mention.
Okay.
During the time of Bingo,
Yeah.
there were ministers from the north. During the time of Peter, Joyce Banda,
Yeah.
there were ministers from the north.
Okay.
During the time of Peter, APM, the former recent,
Yeah.
there were ministers from the north. No one can claim that I'm the one that has actually covered the ministers from the north bigger than the rest.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
And you know, this current government has done it differently in terms of changing ministers.
Okay.
You know, those other governments, you'd expect a year, there's reshuffle.
Okay.
A year, there's reshuffle. In that reshuffle, you can see some changes in terms of who has gone where
Yeah.
and who has been dropped.
Yeah.
But this government from 2020, you see the same faces,
Some ministers.
same ministers.
Yeah.
If there are few who have been changed, very few. And you say, okay, can it happen that the ministers can be in the government for 6 years, for 5 years, the same ministry? No. So when you compare those that used to change every year,
Okay.
you could expect at least the north would be considered.
Okay.
At least the central would be considered. The south would be considered. But that thing to say, the president who comes from that region has more ministers, that's a fact. During the DPP, there are more ministers from the DP, from the Romwe side.
Okay.
We should agree. From the MCP, there are many ministers from MCP. I mean, from the central region. Equally, Joyce Band, etc. So the point of having more ministers from your side has been there. But considering other regions also has been there too. So I would say that this has been the best.
So you can't say that this has been the best.
No.
You can't.
No, I can't. But maybe one thing that maybe they could go a little bit better when they say the Speaker of Parliament is a woman from the north. Agreed. Correct. Catherine Gutenahara comes from the north, and I'm proud of her. She's a close neighborhood within our place.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be like something that you can actually talk.
But we are commenting on the airport. What's wrong with the renovating an airport?
One,
Yeah.
it's a wrong place.
It's a wrong place?
Yes.
Okay.
At the time Kamuzu had that decision, whether at Kamuzu or during the colonial time, Malawi had not grown with that population. The population was very small. So that place was possible at that time a little bit conducive. So now, Muzu has grown in terms of the construction of houses
Yeah.
by individuals. And even the market itself has extended near to the airport.
Okay.
It cannot be an airport. For us, we were expecting, when they were mentioning of our new airport, we thought that would be a commercial place. That people would be building shops, shopping malls, whatever kind of business that they would do. Even the banks would go there.
Okay.
So one, it's a wrong place. Two, the innovation itself is not impressive.
Okay.
It's not impressive in the sense that the quality of work. I don't even know how much was spent on doing this renovation that they're talking about. Yes, I don't know whether it was about 100 million after, as if it's somebody's airport, and he would want to extend his own personal airport. But if we're talking about the government expanding the airport, the innovation that have taken place, I don't think someone would actually stand on the hill and say, I've done the great things.
So who is the president who cared most for the North, in your opinion? Reverend Nyasu.
But you're right.
Yeah.
At first I mentioned
Yeah.
that Dr. Bakiri Muluzi, who is still a chair.
Yeah, a chair.
I think he did something that you can actually point.
Okay.
You say, I think this Tobacco Control Commission, the market was during his time.
Okay.
Muzu Central Hospital, you can show it. What would be other point that would actually mention there? There could be many.
Okay.
I didn't have a list here. And then someone who can actually show was late Peter Mtarika. Sorry.
Bingo
Mtarika, sorry.
Okay.
Bingo Mtarika considered a road that has been a cry for many years.
Okay.
To travel from Karonga to Chitipa was always a problem. If there's a road that actually Northerners would appreciate, would be that road for Bingo Mtarika.
Okay.
And some renovations of that road. At one point, that road was very bad.
Yeah.
As it is now, today the road is very bad. Today, road of Karonga. Is very bad. It's very bad. And when they talk,
I thought the minister was saying that he's renovating the road.
Yes, but they're very far from it.
Okay.
You know when they say Kacheche to Chiweta road, that's what they call it.
Yeah.
That's a piece between Kacheche is my home. Kacheche is my place.
Yeah.
But they are talking of a place that is outside Kacheche.
Okay.
So my Kacheche is dead Kacheche.
Okay.
You can't even see a good road. But they have used the name Kacheche from the old French contractor who was building the road from Kacheche during the time of Bazani Renda, when he was the Malawi Congress Party Treasurer General. That road, it's being renovated. But it's not like somebody can celebrate that we have achieved.
Okay.
Because where they end, or they will end. They have not yet, I don't think they have even gone to half of the construction, of the renovation. No, they are still far from it. Where they end from Chiveta, when you go that side, it's even worse. You go to Chiveta, it's bumpy, it's bad as you go down. But when you stop from Chiveta and you say, this is the phase that is going to be constructed, and from Chiveta going that side to Karonga, is terribly bad. Potholes. So, yes, if they say they have been preparing to make roads for these past years, which I am possibly, yes. But to say they have done the constructions, not yet. No, not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. We are still in problem.
Okay.
Yeah, they are doing renovations, but they should not claim as if they are almost done. No, they're still far from it. Yeah.
So, what you need are better roads? What else do you need?
Oh, we need many things.
Many things?
Yes. You are talking about the north? Or
Yeah, I'm talking about the north, because that's where you're coming from.
Yes. North doesn't have many investors, for example. If there are investors now that you count would be Zuni and University of Livingstonia.
Which you are the vice
which I'm the vice chancellor.
Yeah.
The only two universities in the north. There are some branches that have opened from the possibly Mumbas, Rwanda, and so on. But to say University of Kazikika, there would be only two. At the time of APM, there was a mention of Mombera University. For us, as Northerners, we are so happy, grateful.
At the time of APM?
APM.
Okay.
Yes. And they even went to do some kind of preparations. The road that is going to where the investor will be, that road is intact. The tarmac road is intact. And the entry that gets to was prepared. But the change of the government in 2019-2020 with those demonstrations, the current government promised that we will be the ones. These have failed. As I'm talking now, the investors not started.
So there hasn't been anything?
No. From my knowledge.
Okay.
No. Maybe there could be some who would go there and whatever, do a few things. But I don't think I can say there is a tangible thing that you can show.
But the current administration promised that they will build
yes. And for these 5 years, some that already started would be expecting that. I think it has now reached a certain level. But it's not. So we don't have invested.
Okay.
When we come to even basic education, primary schools, we have still many young people walking long distances, 80 kilometers to a school at this time. And you go to schools in a very bad shape. Of course we hear that this government has built a number of whatever, thousands of schools. I cannot count it from north to say this school was built this time, this school has been built this time. No. The old school that they found are still in that condition, and no more new schools. If they are, they would be very few. Not many. So this education side, that's primary school. You go to secondary schools as well. Secondary schools are still in a very small number.
Yeah, but the president was in parliament.
Right.
He mentioned so many developments that have happened.
Yes.
In the north.
Yes.
Are you not seeing these developments?
Not all of them. Not.
You're not seeing them?
No. Because he mentioned.
Yeah.
Even many roads. Some roads, I think members of parliament reacted to them already. Okay. For example, Brumbi West. This honorable Mkandavire, Atataviza, when he mentioned that the road that goes through to Chitipa and Wenyanyika and so on, the honorable MP corrected. No. This has reached this stage.
Okay, let's take a short break.
Yes,
we'll be back with you in a moment.
Thank you so much.
Ngati mwango tipeza kumene, you're watching Times exclusive pano pakanema wa Times. I'm profoundly honored madzulo ano to have the very Reverend Professor Timothy Nyasulu, Vice Chancellor wa University of Malawi, komanso neneri wa Interfaith Forum for Peace, Justice and Dialogue. Akutipatsira programu madzulo ano ndi Rainbow Pens. We'll take a short break. We'll be back. Ngati mwango tipeza kumene tili mgawo lachiwiri la programu yathu madzulo ano ya Times exclusive. Kuchokera komwe ku Mzuzu tili ndi the very Reverend Professor Timothy Nyasulu, Vice Chancellor wa University ya Malawi. Vice Chancellor wa University of Livingstonia. Bevan. Yeah, so nakufusani kuti mwama president wonse.
Yes.
Ndiye munanena kuti pa number 1 pali a chair.
Yes.
In as far as the consideration ya kumpoto.
Exactly.
Pa number 2 pali a bingu.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean munaona kuti umuntu watikonda.
Watikonda, yes.
Okay.
Akana pitirira.
Akana pitirira.
Get.
Okay.
Yes.
Pa number 3
the former president APM anayesa kosu kwambiri.
Okay.
When it comes to basic needs.
Okay.
For example, food security, and I says, of course, and up until when we are bingo,
yeah.
Then a Joyce Banda and Zapiti, so now also I says, my Joyce Banda,
yeah.
Then it comes Peter, basically like access to good water.
Okay.
I think he did, because Marambiri, Katape, Mzimba, Chitipa, Karonga, he initiated this water through water board.
Okay.
So we could say many communities in the north, in terms of accessing clean water,
yeah,
would be the time of APM.
Okay.
Yes. If there are other projects that have extended, would be finishing at this time.
Okay.
But they started some time back.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would also say I think he did a lot.
Boma la MCP la Chakwera. La kuchitira njani chimene mukhoza kuloza.
Maybe somebody should remind me. As I said, the airport was being mentioned from some time, and when this government came in, we carry auto nichirwa something in the airport. Of course, pa auto nichirwa napo sisi nanene kuti amana uta as amanga chiriza cha auto nichirwa sana mangi. I think possibly you heard that. At the moment, means kuti airport, I think they are feeling that if the renovation of the airport would be one of the activities that they have done, then would be the renovation of the airport. And this road that is being done. But you know, Brian, what is so funny with our politicians is that they do not want to appreciate, to say, this thing that I'm doing, I'm continuing.
Okay.
From where my friend so and so left. That one is not there. I think that speed is so bad.
Okay.
Let me mention it here.
Okay.
It's very bad. Somebody comes in 1994 says, Kamus did nothing. That's very unfair. Then somebody comes after Bakiri, this UDF did nothing. No. Then after UDF, after somebody from MCP comes, takes over from DPP did nothing. These are bad statements from politicians. Because the country grows by leadership.
Yeah.
This one takes over from the other one. And when this government now talks about all the and on the recent speech on 14 May, Kamuzu Day, I heard statements like, oh, Saminana Nali Pakatipa. Sana Pangichiri Chose. They have killed the vision of Kamuzu. I feel that was not fair. I don't know.
Okay.
But they said it.
Okay.
They said it. If you wanted to play a clip, you would actually hear.
Okay.
Good. And when we come to elections, don't vote for those that had killed the vision of Kamuzu. So they are talking about all the presidents in between. So you should not vote for UDF. You should not vote for somebody from Mafod. You should not vote for somebody from DPP. You should vote for somebody from PP. You don't vote for all these parties. Should not, but you should vote for the current one because it's the one that is actually continuing the vision of Kamuzu. That is not right. That is wrong. Let them just be talking about what they want to do in the next government. Yeah.
Do you think the current crop of ministers from your region have helped to run with the vision for the North?
I don't think so from myself.
You don't think so?
No. Because I would expect that I would be able to point out that because of this minister, ABC has been done. Because I can remember some. Madam Gotanehara, the Speaker of Parliament, I think he's second in terms of second citizen in the country. If you want to count how in our hierarchy, he's not a small person. But I would not sit down and say this big thing has been done because of honorable Speaker. I don't think I can show.
Okay.
Then this minister, is it from Chitipa, is it Wera Chirenga? And then Kezim Sukwa, whatever. When you look at what have they actually influenced this current political situation to have a road or a development project in the North, I don't think I would say this one. Because when they talk about they go to Karonga to open water, as I said, it's a continuation of somebody.
Okay.
When they go to Nkatabe to open a water project, it's a continuation of somebody. When they go to somewhere else, it's not their own initiative. It's a continuation of the projects. I would love to see that indeed, because of so and so, as a minister, North had this. Which means when you come to Dr. Alet, Good Ogondwe, may so rest in peace, who could mention some.
So Gudo influenced some.
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He did.
But the current crop of ministers.
I don't think I've not yet seen one.
What did Gudo Gondwe do?
I'm talking about the road that was mentioned here.
Okay.
To Chidipa.
Okay.
It was doing Gudo Gondwe.
Okay. So he influenced them.
He did.
Okay.
He influenced that. Yeah, so there could be this water thing that I'm talking about. The water that has actually been spread all over the northern region is during the time of Gudo Gondwe as the Minister of Finance. So he did some influence to make sure that the president understands the situation of his own ministers.
So the current crop of ministers
Yes.
have failed you?
For me,
Yeah.
yes.
As a Reverend Nyasulu?
Yes. I could be joined by other people.
You could be joined by others?
Yeah. But,
Okay.
But let me not talk on behalf of other people. What I'm trying to say, the influence of this, unless it is influence on personal transformation.
Okay. So they have transformed the person?
Yes, they have.
They have?
They have, definitely. They have. No problem about that. They have. They have tremendously transformed. Yes. But to say this has been achieved as northern region Malawian citizen, I don't think I have.
We will be having general elections
Yes.
on 16th September.
Yeah.
What are the main issues of this election, Professor Nyasulu?
Right. Violence.
Okay.
Political violence. We thought, as a religious leader now, when we are bringing the multi-party democracy in 1993, and then later on Nigeria took over from the late Kamuzu Banda to be the president, we thought the freedom that we are giving people to have freedom of choice, freedom of talking, speech, and so on, would develop the minds of Malawians as well as development, the economy of the country. But people, they have now shifted from the principles of democracy, values of democracy. They are not tolerant to each other. They are failing to coexist. They are failing to respect each other. They are failing to appreciate the importance of the other person. Then what has come in is they have become like, I matter more than him, than her. So each political party, when they are doing their political rallies, they don't want any other person to have a different opinion. That's very dangerous.
Okay.
For a democratic country.
Should be allowed to coexist?
Coexist.
Okay.
Yes. And this thing has affected. Now at the moment, when you look at the political rallies that are taking place,
Yeah.
you have so many pockets of violences within the country. And recently, you can mention them. I think many Malawians know. Even at the park, some places were actually mentioned. This issue of attacking each other, beating each other, killing each other, targeting each other, that speech is bad. And some of us were worried that the way things are, it seems people would want those that are in the power now, sorry to mention that.
Yeah.
If we are not careful, we're going to one-party system of government. Because the spirit of not accepting others is growing.
Okay.
Yes. So violence would be one of them. I mean, from both parties. Let me not just be selective here. Violence that takes place from DPP, violence that takes place at the NCP, violence that takes place at one point they afforded at some rally, political rally somewhere, and they were attacked. All these are very dangerous to elections, and people are fearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think we are condemning violence enough as a country?
I think this was the issue that was raised in our meeting at Park, because some were like, we have security, police, as well as the army, and the law, the judiciary. But it seems these security and judiciary, to perform their work well, is something that you cannot believe. What is the problem? They can know who has initiated or perpetrated the violence, but they will leave that person. And when it goes to court, the judgment will not even be given to that person. He's just left free. So violence that is taking place now, if it's going up to the elections, then definitely it will affect elections.
What are, in your opinion, qualities of a good leader that we should begin to look for in the coming elections?
Yes, I've heard you. You know, from a religious point of view, as a reverend, I think the first quality of a leader is the fear of the Lord.
The fear of the Lord.
The fear of the Lord.
Okay.
And it continues with the beginning of wisdom. When you have actually abandoned the senses, you know, people can lose sense of whether what I'm doing is right or not. When you have left, when that senses is dead, those senses are dead in you to think about, is what I'm doing right to my fellow human being? You know, sometimes I quote this verse, which primarily it may be interesting to you and maybe to Malawians. When those two gentlemen were walking from Jerusalem to Emmaus, right? They were talking, and Jesus was actually going behind them. And Jesus is asking them, what are you talking about? Are you a new person? Continuare from Jerusalem. We are talking about Jesus of Nazareth, right? Okay, what about him? They say, he was a strong prophet in word and deed. First quality, word and deed. Second point, he's a strong prophet before God and before people. I think these are our politicians should understand.
Okay.
Before God and before people. Don't forget that if you know that you are chosen by God, fear God and serve people better. Fear God and serve people better. Don't claim to be a God-fearer when you are actually oppressing people. Don't claim yourself to be a religious person when somebody is suffering, is dying of hunger. Don't call yourself to be a religious person or a pastor or a reverend like me when your fellow neighbor is suffering. Somebody who is a leader should have passionate heart, should love his people. Secondly, let's maintain what we say is what we do. Leaders, Brian, they only talk, very smartly talking, as when you listen to them as if they are angels. When they talk as if they are talking the truth. And people can clap hands. And you know we are gifted in terms of talking. Some are so good, like you are a very fluent speaker, Brian, honestly. When you talk, I think that is your talent, that is your gift. You have to appreciate that. But later on, you have to say, is what Brian is saying going to do?
Yeah.
So don't just be good at speeches.
Okay.
Talk well, do well as well. These are fear of the Lord, beginning of wisdom.
Okay.
A leader has to know what I'm talking about. I'll be accountable. And people expect what I've talked will be done. And when you have talked and you don't do it, then people have lost trust.
And when people remind you what you talked about,
and you get angry.
No, get angry.
You get angry. Don't get angry. Just do what they have reminded you to do.
Okay.
Instead of getting angry.
Yeah.
Yes. So these actually have to guide us as leaders. Say and do. Talk and do. Before God, before people.
Before God and before people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't just tell him I'm a reverend, I'm a moderator, I'm a pastor, I'm a bishop, I'm a preacher. But what you say is contrary to what you do, then you have lost.
Do you think Malawians are accountable enough to their leaders?
Well,
or is there anything that we can do as a people?
I think there's more that we can do.
Okay.
You know, what has also affected us, which before I forget, is the issue of money.
Money.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, I can know, or I can decide to approach you. Brian, what you're doing is not good. 2, 3, 4 times. And then you are saying, I think Yasur is talking to me too much. I think they should be aware
To silence him.
to silence him.
Okay.
And you just call me to your house and over a cup of tea and you give me an envelope of money. This has actually affected whether Malawians are accountable to their leaders. Because the leaders can be very clever enough to say so and so is making noise, so and so is making noise, to silence that person. Can you call him? And we meet. Kashipita Komata. And they do things. And you get surprised. That person was so noisy at that time. He's no longer doing that. Money has done something. And I sometimes call our politics as politics of poverty.
Politics of poverty.
Yes. Politics of poverty. You enter politics that you become rich. This is a problem. That's why our developed countries, they would get a president who is rich, who has business, who is already affluent.
Okay.
So that when he gets into the seat of a president, he's not thinking much about what he has.
Or for himself.
For himself.
Okay.
But for us in Malawi, they think getting into politics, you get rich.
Okay.
That's why you are surprised with somebody who was walking in slippers. When he has entered the politics, using liars, he has gotten rich. So rich. Why? Politics of poverty. They enter politics to get rich. We cannot develop. Politics should be, when you enter, should be a sacrificial responsibility that you want to save people. You save Malawians. You save people. You save citizens. And citizens should actually appreciate, say, because of him, I've changed my economic status.
Votera anthu chifukwa chotipatsa chipewa
Exactly.
kapena t-shirt or nsalu.
Yes.
But it's more than that.
It's more than that. It's more than that. I think when to become a leader is more than that. You know, Andariwa, some people get uniform.
Yeah.
Not because Akoda Chipani, but they don't have Zofara.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. I've seen somebody like dressing on official meeting. Kuti pano sim songo Chipani. But somebody has put on t-shirt Chipani. This is the only one that I have. So it should be beyond the giving of t-shirts.
Yeah.
Or 2,000 or 1 million, whatever amount. It should be beyond that. Our fellow other countries are transforming because people put their citizens first. Their citizens' welfare first.
Yeah.
Their country first. And their family later. But for us, it's the other way around. My family first. Myself first. Let me belong to be the richest person in my place. That's wrong. To enter into political position is a calling as well.
Yeah.
We should appreciate it. It's a calling.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a calling. So if you are called by God, be mindful that you serve God, you serve people. I'll come to this several times. You serve God, you serve people. Yeah.
We don't have much time, and we have used much of our time in English. We wanted to do some Chichewa, but I noticed that it's going to be it's not going to be possible. What would be your advice to those in government, those in opposition, and Malawians that are watching us tonight?
Right.
As we finish.
Yes.
Looking at the fact that we have elections coming up in September, what would be your last thought for tonight?
Yes. Malawi, first and foremost. First and foremost, Malawi ndi famodzi. Whether you are born in Mzimba, Chikwawa, Lilongwe, ndi famodzi. And let's make sure when we come to this time as we prepare for elections, let's think of having a peaceful elections. With all the preparations that are taking place from all sectors, we want our political leaders, our CSOs, our church leaders, religious leaders, in all areas, let's come together, cooperate. And there should be no one who should give intimidation to Malawians when they want to decide who to vote for. Let them choose the leader of their heart, of their choice, than somebody intimidating. No, we have the right to choose a leader. Our political leaders, those who are leading the presidential aspirants that will become, please, when you talk in your political rallies, don't castigate, don't hate speech, don't bring hate speech in your rallies, but respect each other. Just talk the facts about what you think would change the life of a Malawian.
No lies.
No lies.
No lies.
No lies. No lies. Don't lie. Thank you so much. Don't
lie.
Don't lie. Talk the truth, and the truth will set you free, and people will choose their leader. Thank you.
Reverend Professor Timothy Nyasulu, quite interesting hearing your talk. We want to thank you most kindly that despite your busy schedule, you managed to come to our headquarters in Blantyre and have a conversation with us. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you very much indeed. Pamene panso ndiye pamapeto a program yathu madzulo ano. In the program, I was honored to host the very Reverend Professor Timothy Kabulunga Nyasulu, Vice Chancellor of the University of Livingstonia, Vice Chancellor of the University of Livingstonia, and he's also a spokesperson for Interfaith Forum for Peace, Justice, and Dialogue. My name is Brian Banda, from all of us here at Times headquarters in Blantyre, wishing you the very best of the night, and goodbye.